All right, so I will open the meeting at
37.
6:35, 6:37. First item is to approve the minutes of the October 20th meeting. Everybody's had a chance to read them, so we've got them out to us ahead of time. Any discussion?
I marked myself as absent because I had gotten there late. So I just updated that.
All right, so we have one amendment to the minute. Anything else? Make a motion? No, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Jamie. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no.
Yes.
As a vote, unanimous. All right, next up, we're going to move up the item number 6 to number 3, discussion on new growth numbers. So because there was a little bit of misunderstanding what new growth was at the town meeting, I figured, if every meeting we take 5 or 10 minutes and go over some aspect of the budget, okay? Maybe next time could be excess levy capacity as an explanation. So that's why you were invited here today, and thank you very much for coming, okay? And explaining to us, okay, where new growth comes from and how it's determined. 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to go quick.
No, I'm not saying you have to go quick. I'm saying it doesn't have to be a half-hour dissertation.
No. So the new growth number is a compilation of going out and doing field inspections, which could be for sales or for building permits or for just a cyclical inspection. We have to visit every property once every 10 years. So often we go to a property, it might be something as small as a deck or a shed, it could be a finished basement, it might be an addition, it might be a whole new house. Every one of those has to be recorded in a ledger that gets uploaded into Gateway at the end, called an LA13, which is your new growth submittal. So one of the big issues with predicting the number and why new growth is so hard to predict is personal property. Personal property is machinery, equipment, furniture and fixtures, and inventory, depending on what kind of business is corporation versus non and so forth. But those forms are due to our office on March 1st. So once we receive all those forms, it takes our office a couple of months to sort of, we have to go through them, we have to match them to accounts that are pre-existing versus new accounts, update mailing addresses, calculate values or new values depending on what it is, and then also record each of those in the ledger for the parcel ID and what they are for new growth. So it can be difficult to predict because literally those numbers aren't going to come in for months from now. And so I want you to just have an understanding of like what happens with that. And there's been a lot of changes. So here, when I first got here 5 years ago, not to get too much into the weeds, but there's a number called a CIP, which is commercial, industrial, and personal property. The percentage of your overall valuation that is for the community, which 5 years ago was just around 17%. So that includes all like your solar farms, all your commercial properties, all your industrial properties, all the personal property. We're now at 36.5%, which is a really high number for this part of the state.
Right.
Those numbers are typically, inside 495, not out here. And that's because of, we have a lot of personal property. That's the biggest number. Commercial, we still have a very small number of commercial. But industrial with, LNG and Amazon and Millennium, we have a big industrial number and we have the largest personal property number. So that's changed a lot in the last few years. So that kind of gives you a little bit of why it's hard to predict what new growth is. Because I know the last few years we sort of go into the budget very conservatively, and then these two are in my office like, well, how's it looking? And I kind of open up the ledger like, where are we now? But until I really vet it out, sometimes we hire an outside firm a little bit to help us audit some of the properties to make sure that I can feel confident that this new growth number is going to get approved by the Department of Revenue, which doesn't happen until like a month ago. Sometimes it's a couple weeks ago at this
Right.
time of year. So it's sort of like...
It sounds like it kind of coincides
So it's after I
with
submit
free cash.
balance sheet. Yep, so it's after, so she gets new growth numbers usually, it's, because I submit early, it's after, but they usually coincide around like the same time, so it's very busy, that's why she said it depends.
Mid-September to mid-October.
Yeah, DOR is very
depending.
busy at that time, because they're doing balance sheets, you're doing all the new growth, they're doing tax rates, they're doing, like, their very busy time of year.
And because it's been such a high number the last few years, I have tried to go early and get our new growth number approved well before town meeting, because we're gonna be voting on numbers at town meeting.
Right.
And
To
heaven
spend.
forbid, they see something and say, no, we're not approving it, it would kind of mess things up. So I've been going a little bit on the earlier side.
Yeah,
So I know in May, when we passed the budget, you used 800,000
Yeah.
as a new
Right.
growth number,
So
for a number.
we try to use a conservative number that's gonna meet our needs.
Right, but that's a number that,
we thought
I
that.
hate using the word guessing, but estimating.
Yeah.
Because you have not heard by
Right.
October.
We actually thought we
what
probably
the
weren't
new-
gonna be that far off.
Right.
We thought maybe we'd be like maybe $1.5 million, maybe $1.2 million.
So like for this year though, I had to send notes to the Department of Revenue when I, uploaded my ledger for my LA 13. And I wanted to just read you just real quick. We got approved at $5.6 million in new growth. Again, unheard of almost anywhere in the state, except for if you're
Yeah.
really in Boston, right? But of that, there was 6 properties, all personal property, that compiled 5.2 million of that 5.6 million,
Right.
okay? So when you back out those top 6 properties, of course, Amazon, New England Power, MCI, Spectrum, Mass Electric, when you back those out, our new growth number was 395,000.
Which is where we were prior to all of this stuff. That's where we used to budget like 250, 300.
So without those 395, 800 is sort of way too high.
Right.
So that's why it's so difficult to sort of like have to really make sure that I feel confident that I've gone over those numbers, that maybe I've looked at outside help before we really release that, because that's,
Right, and
that's
when
a
we're-
huge difference in tax dollars.
And when we're budgeting, we're kind of going off, just okay, well, I know I have X, Y, Z, so I'm safe with this number. And the 3 of us are always working together during budget season to be like, okay,
Right.
well, if we can estimate, I know I can at least for sure get here.
Yeah.
So I feel comfortable, because remember, we're setting a budget based off this number, and if we don't have new growth to back that up, we're
It's gonna be a
now,
problem.
we're making
Yeah.
cuts
Right,
at town
and
meeting
I
in
was gonna
October.
go
Yeah.
down that road just a
Yeah.
hair, okay? So you used 8 as a number.
Yeah, say we came in at 5.
Say you came in at 5.
If I didn't
What
have-
happens to the budget?
I would have to either have local receipts to back it up, or we'd need to make cuts at town meeting in October to take away from the levy if we didn't have the capacity to tax that high.
Okay, so you can actually then readjust at the October meeting, which is why it's important for you to try and get your number by September.
Correct.
Before the,
Yeah.
okay.
And I saw, Jamie, did you have your hand up? Maybe.
Jamie?
Jamie?
Did you have your hand up? No? Okay. I saw her hand up at the back of mine.
So that's the first part of it. So, I just, it's a good background to understand. There's a lot going into it. Did you want to?
Yeah, so I just want to understand this. So CIP is the commercial, industrial, and personal property. Other than that, what is it? New home construction, like you said,
Yes.
decks? And so
Yeah,
that's,
That's all
what kind of
residential.
percentage is that?
I mean, so, if you looked at my ledger, there's like, I don't know, 700, 800 lines on there. And some of them are a shed that's valued at, $1,200.
right.
Right.
But that,
But all of that adds up. And
Right.
in a slow year, you have to capture all of it.
Right.
But some of it is very minuscule that has to add up to
Right.
it. And so the 395 is actually kind of low. But yeah, it's mainly new houses, big additions, finished basements,
right.
decks, sheds.
Yeah, so the
Whatever it might
36.5% is what we call CIP.
CIP.
The rest of it is residential.
Yeah, so 63.5
Makes up,
resi.
and that
is
makes
just
up your full
residential.
levy.
So
That
the
makes up
CIP
all your
though,
valuation.
Right.
if a big company changed their operations, moved it somewhere else, or did something major, that could
Such as
shift pretty
Amazon.
quick.
Well, that's the issue. So the issue this year was Amazon. Amazon's personal property alone, their tax bill is 4.8 million.
Right.
4.8 million.
Right.
That's a big percentage of your levy
Right.
that's coming from one company. And so,
That's
anything
remember that's
happens-
just their real. That's not their real estate bill. That's literally
That's
just,
just
their
their
personal
personal
property,
not the
inventory,
real
the
estate bill.
robots,
And a lot of
the-
stuff depreciates as well, so it's.
right.
So it can be fluctuating. So until we have a couple of years under our belt of that,
Yeah.
leads me to my next thing. It's like, okay, so what happened at the floor town meeting when all this money got kind of passed over, right? So, what happened was in preparation of the tax rate approval and all the stuff that we did, looking at all of our accounts, we did put some more money into the overlay account. And I have this printout that you can kind of read through too. It might be helpful actually to give it to you now so that. you
So
can-
basically what the overlay is say Amazon comes to us and says, you know what, I don't think you should be taxing me on my inventory.
Thank you.
And I don't agree with this bill. They can take us to the appellate tax board
Okay.
and basically say, we don't agree with this bill, we think it should only be, say, 2 million. And if they were to win, we would now owe them 2 million, let's just use round numbers, 2 million back. Where do we pull $2 million from?
Well,
You have to pull it from the overlay account.
okay.
So we did put some additional money into the overlay because of this situation where it is brand new. This is the first year we're seeing that account. And then additionally, we have another top taxpayer that we have an ATB case, that's the appellate tax board. So we're gonna need some funding for that.
Right.
So until we have a couple of years of data and sort of stabilize, it was kind of prudent to be able to do this. And I've detailed out this information. If you look at the bottom under what happened to the money that was passed over on town meeting floor, if you go to the fourth paragraph, I want you to note that we still closed with an excess levy capacity of $1.7 million, which is an increase. Last year, we had about $1 million. So this is money that was sort of left on the table that we didn't tax.
Yeah.
Part of that is because we left some of it on the floor at town meeting.
Right.
But it's a decision to avoid taxing up to the full levy limit, which is important, and being prudent by reserving some of it in the overlay for our future needs.
Right.
So,
Did you make this document available on the website or?
I literally just finished it 5 minutes ago, but I can definitely do that.
I think making it available,
Mm.
public.
Yes.
Yeah, we can put it up on the website.
Can help people to understand. So if you
Yeah.
turn it over, the next big question which you might have is, will the excess levy be the same for next year? And so, I don't have to read all through this now, but I think it's important for you to understand that it may or may not be, depending on several factors that go into it. So if you want to take a minute to look that over, I can answer any questions.
Oh, I think we'll get the gist of it as we go through it. What I really wanted to make sure everybody that is watching understands is, and this is where I think the misunderstanding happened at the town meeting, that one motion to put it in stabilization. There was a lot of assumption there that we were going to increase the tax rate
Right.
so that we could collect the 125 or whatever we did.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to understand, no, this is just money that you have now said is going to come in this fiscal year, unallocated, and all we're doing is allocating.
So basically, all it would have done, in theory, because we're still collecting the money because we have to
Right.
tax them, it would have just shifted the pie, so the taxpayers would have then been taxed a little bit less. But then next year, when you go to use it, so let's just say, we'll use round numbers. Say your average tax bill is going to go up $150 if we spend the money, but if we don't spend it, it's going to go up $100 for next year.
Okay.
When we go to spend the money in the next fiscal year, let's just say because now we have the ability to tax to the levy, and we do tax to levy because now you have the new substation, and you have the people, right, so you use that whole 1.7 plus your 2.5% for Prop 2.5, and you're adding your exclusion on next year for the substation, and say now your taxes are gonna go up $350. That's a big hurt to the taxpayer rather than raising it up a little increment every year. It's less of a burden on the taxpayer because you're not feeling the hit as much as you would it just going up in little increments. And also, not only that, when we go out to bond, they look at us to see how stable we are. So if your tax rate is going like this
Right.
rather than just go like this, they look at that and they hit you for that. So it's better for us to just increase gradually than it is for us to have huge spikes and huge dips.
Yeah.
So this is all stuff that we all think about when we're setting budget, when we're spending new growth, when we're trying to put money away. And by us putting it away, we know that in probably 2 to 3 years that this new growth at 5.6 million is going to hit us with the schools. That's really going to shift the burden from Dudley more to us, so that your split is slowly shifting.
That's when we should
Right.
catch
Yeah,
up.
taxpayers never compliment you when their tax bill goes down.
Right.
But they'll always let you know when it goes up.
Yeah.
And when it goes up drastically.
Right, it's when we
then
hear them
then there's
more.
an issue.
And we don't hear from as much as if
So
your
the
tax bill
idea,
just goes up
as
slowly.
Ashley said, is just
Yeah.
to keep on-
And even with us putting some of this away, we still close. The tax bill is going up the same as it did last year, same amount.
Yeah.
$180 on average.
190, something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
So it's still very small.
It's still small. And the tax rate did go down from 1113 to 1094.
1094.
So
So.
that's pending approval, but that
Yeah.
should that should be fine.
Yeah, so it'll be somewhere around the $10.94 mark, plus or minus.
You got out of Boston, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
not great, but yeah.
Did that answer all your questions?
That answers my questions. I hope it answers everybody's, that might have had a question at home, as to what happened and why did we do it,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming in
No
and-
problem.
and walking us through that.
And no problem, anytime.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you
Kathy.
for moving me up on the agenda, I appreciate it.
Fun at your conference.
Do you have another copy
Yeah.
of this?
No, go ahead.
Now, as I said before, what I would like to do, guys, is each meeting take 5 or 10 minutes, come up with a new question that we all either don't understand ourselves or we know that anybody watching might not
Yeah.
understand. Which is why at the next meeting, I want to have us talk about the excess levy capacity and how that works and how it's determined and how it affects us, okay? So that will be our question for next meeting. So if we go back to our agenda, and I said, I'll do my best to hold it to a half hour so you guys can go to your other meetings. All right, so the schedule.
Or just for Drew.
I printed out a schedule just so that we can go back over. Is everybody comfortable with the schedule that we've got?
Yeah. The only thing I have is March. So you're gonna do your budget hearings on the 11th.
Yeah.
Do we wanna meet, cause I was thinking and talking today out loud with Sue. So the 11th is fine. The 18th, we're usually in school, but I'm just thinking I'll have numbers from the state by then, so I could almost probably have a balanced budget for you guys if we meet the 25th.
If we change that to the 25th?
Yeah, because if you do it the 18th, I probably won't have enough time between the 11th. Because what I'll do is once we get everybody's asks,
Yeah.
I'll have you rate. I'll bring a sheet of all the asks again, and I'll have you guys rate them,
Yeah.
1 to whatever. And I'll try to fit that as much as I can into a balanced budget for you. So if we meet the 25th, I'll probably have a balanced budget.
Okay, all right, so let's.
So March
You
20th.
said the 25th,
March 25th.
March 25th.
I feel like I've said this before and I don't remember the outcome, but have we ever thought about doing Outlook calendar invites?
No, but I could.
I think that would help.
We use them, so.
Yeah.
Do you?
Could you invite us?
Yeah. Do you want me to do it with your town email, or
Yeah.
do you want to send me your personal emails and add it to your
I think
Outlook
town is
calendar?
fine,
Okay.
and
If
then
you can do town.
we can
Yeah.
put it on our personal.
We have Outlook with the town, yeah.
I'm gonna set it up, I'll have to set that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff is fantastic.
Yeah.
He'll help me
Are you
with
here the
the,
25th?
I just started using ChatGPT.
Oh, jeez.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
for March or
Scary.
February? Oh, for with the
We have
school.
a school, but they don't set dates. so we're-
Right.
we're
I
waiting
had
for
most of these
school
dates
stuff.
in there, good.
I'm gonna try to steer them to the 11th. I'm
Right.
out of that week.
So are we good?
Oh, okay.
Is the 25th on
The
top
February
of-
18th you're gone? Do you want to not have
The
budget
18th?
hearings
Yes,
that
the
weekend? Because that would
18th,
be our
March
normal meeting.
18th, we move to the 25th.
meeting.
Okay, all right.
Oh, so
That way
February
we should
18th
have the
would be our
budget
normal meeting because it's the
in
3rd.
time by then.
this
He
is the
pushed it
25th?
back.
That's the 25th.
Oh, you know what? We probably pushed it back because that was school vacation week.
Okay.
That's why. So the school department meeting probably won't be the 18th because that's school vacation week, and I have a hard time believing they're going to meet on school vacation week. So, but that February 18th will be a tentative date.
Oh.
I don't
okay.
think that's official.
So put a question mark by February 18th.
It will
'cause I
probably
did not know school.
yeah, it will
vacation.
probably be the 11th.
Yeah,
I think we pushed our February meeting back because the 18th was school vacation week.
February
So-
18th is-
Because technically February
Move
18th.
18 to 11.
Well, no, technically February 18th would be our normal meeting, but it's school vacation week.
Move
So I
it to
think we
11.
moved our meeting to the 25th. But Andrew and I are assuming the school will probably meet February 11th because the 18th is school vacation week.
right.
Got
So
it.
let's make the
Yeah.
18th.
I'm with you
the
too,
11th.
Yeah.
Danny.
That's when we figured that you guys wouldn't be here, so that's why I think we bumped our meeting back.
I won't be here for the 25th, but I'll remind you.
Okay.
So we have, no, we didn't have February.
Let's
So
go.
you're good with January 21st, because I'm going to send meeting, everyone's been asking me, when's FinCom meeting? So I'm going to send them out on Monday.
Yeah.
So January 21st is good. February 25th is good for everybody else.
Yep.
And
Except
then,
for-
Kristen.
Except for Christian.
except for Kristen.
Yeah.
And then March 11th is good. And those will
Yes.
be
Yeah.
our 3 budget hearings.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll do so March 18th will become March 25th.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to assume we usually meet twice in March and twice in April, but if you want to keep the 15th, that's fine.
Well, if you notice, I wrote vote on town budget. I didn't put a date
Right.
next to that because.
Do you wanna bump up yours, cause the board usually meets the second and fourth Tuesday?
Second, yeah.
So I don't know if you wanna move your April 15th meeting to the 8th? Cause
Then
you,
that
I don't
puts
know
us
if you're gonna
with
get
their
them to meet
first
2 weeks 2 days in a row.
Huh?
I don't know if you're gonna get a full board to meet 2 days in a row, cause they'd be meeting their meeting on the 14th.
Okay.
Like a
They usually come to FinCom for budget, don't they?
I thought you guys.
No, we
usually go-
can't, we
Go to
always,
them.
we always went to.
For
that.
budget or for town meeting?
Both,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So April
So then
15th
April
becomes
4
April 8th
April 15th, if you're gonna go to their meeting, would be the 14th.
or the 14th.
We'll just revise this document, right?
Yeah, I'll fix it.
That's
Wait, they're
probably a
meeting the
good idea.
21st?
Well, sorry, no, 14th, you're right.
Yeah. And then, but then you're gonna probably have to meet again on the 20,
So in that blank space, right, April.
I'm just thinking you're not gonna have
you
a
got
warrant done by
calendar in
April
front of you?
14th
Yeah. What is it, 22nd is it?
with motions
22,
for town
yeah.
meeting on the
22nd?
18th.
Okay.
So do you wanna maybe push it to the
So
28th?
April 22nd is when we will take our
No,
final
they're
vote.
gonna have to they're
the
gonna have to
budget.
vote to post it on the 14th,
Yeah?
because the 28th is gonna be too late.
Oh, cause
They
it's gotta
have-
be posted before the
a
election?
week before the election.
Oh, okay. All right. So April 15th will become April 14th. And
Yep.
then you're gonna vote on the budget and warrant articles at the same meeting?
At that 14th
At
meeting?
the
Yeah.
14th?
So we won't meet on April 22nd. We won't have to meet twice in April.
No.
Okay, so scratch out that whole,
So you're gonna do those two
and
together.
then just write a little arrow that says, where
Yeah.
it says vote on town
I'll
budget.
do vote
that's gonna be
slash
the
meet
April
with
14th
BOS.
meeting.
Yep. And then you won't have to meet again in May until town meeting on the 18th. We'll just make that our regular meeting.
The
Yeah.
18th, not the 25th?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I was to put a footnote
May
on the
18th.
March 25th
I'll
meeting.
resend it out.
You have to.
If you put a footnote on
On the
what?
March 25th meeting is when we're going to review
A balanced
our
budget.
balanced budget
Yeah.
proposal to the Board of Selectmen.
Well,
Like,
you're
you can
gonna,
invite
yes.
Huh?
them. You
Well,
invite them.
No, because we're
They-
gonna meet them
Yeah,
on
they
April
usually look at it
14th to go
first.
through it.
He's saying what we wanna bring to them.
What we wanna bring to
Yeah,
them.
so you're gonna review a budget to bring to the selectmen. Yeah,
Right, that's what,
And
that's
they'll
what,
consider it the next week, and then you join.
Right, that's
to
what-
discuss it.
right.
we come up with a set of numbers and we say, this is it.
The selectmen won't have seen a
That's what I
balanced
learned
budget
at
before their meeting
senior
on the
meeting.
14th.
They
Is that
can't
gonna be
change our
okay?
proposal.
Because we're not gonna approve budget till the 25th, which is after your regular
Whatever we
meeting,
come up with. They can either support.
March
or not support.
2026.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
All right.
you'll meet the 10th of March and the 24th of March. If we're not meeting till
No,
the,
they'll be they'll be the 7th.
they will, that's the first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Looking at
I
that
know.
week.
The 14th will be your first meeting, so they're gonna see budget for the first time and the warrant for the first. Because I won't have a balanced budget till the end. It just, April's weird.
If it doesn't have to do with FinCom, talk about it somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to think, the board usually looks at the budget and then they'll look at it with you.
Yeah.
So do we need, but you can't move to the 28th, because if the thing has to be posted, the election's the 2nd. Unless you switch your meetings to the 7th and the 21st. But that's
March.
You have you'll meet March 10th, March 24th, but we're not gonna meet till the 25th.
Maybe March 18th.
No. I won't have a balanced budget by then. That only gives me a week.
That's why we pushed it off that week.
Yeah.
So if
Unless we
if
meet
we're gonna
March
vote,
4th, but that's back-to-back meetings. Maybe? That's
and
tight.
if we're gonna come up
Why
with
don't I
a
just, why don't I
budget,
plan to provide them a tentatively balanced budget pending finance committee's.
On the
review
24th.
On the 24th.
We can do that
And then the final one as approved, and you guys can review it.
on the
Mhm.
on the
On the
14th
14th.
together.
right,
Okay.
on the 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So then we'll meet,
All right.
our May meeting will be town meeting, because that's usually, we don't really usually have much on May
Right.
anyway. And then June, you're okay with the 17th?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Everyday work, they just need an updated.
I'll update it, I'll send it out to you guys, and then I'll go, when I go in, I'll do all calendar invites for it all.
Oh, good.
All right, so that's the meeting schedule. Anything else on the meeting, on the schedule? I'll redo it and send it back out.
I'll say, I'll do it, I can send it back out to you if you want,
Okay.
I don't mind. And then I'll do calendar invites
Soon as
for
I'll be
them.
on the road, yeah, that probably
Yeah,
looks all.
that's what I figured.
Okay, so next up, we have, oh, I did want to just quickly, I printed out our expiration dates on our terms,
I did see that.
right?
Yeah.
And I noticed, okay, that you're the 25th, so I'm assuming you got reappointed the last May meeting.
Nope. Oh, yeah. No.
Noreen didn't give you a reappointment letter, or?
I don't,
Why
are we
do
sure
that?
that these expiration dates are accurate?
I know Elise's reduction already.
These-
I don't know if she's-
Yeah.
These dates are accurate.
They are, okay.
Yeah, Noreen and I went over them like 2 or 3 years ago to
Okay.
make sure that, and so anybody new that we bring on, for instance, would be the same date as Ray, the 25th or the 25th.
Okay.
Actually, so you should be the 28th. In my reading of this, you
Right.
should be the 28th.
Right,
And the next person on would be the 28th. And then we've got at least 2, 3, and 3.
Right.
Or something.
so I'll update him.
All right.
So Kristen
But
and
I just want
Jeremy
to make sure that he is
expire
in
this
fact
year.
appointed
Yeah,
by Noreen.
I think we reached out to her,
Elise did.
yeah, in the town clerk's office, but we haven't heard. But I'm assuming he's okay.
Okay. All right. And
Yeah, I
then-
thought the term ended in 25. I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah,
Double check.
yeah,
Make
Double
sure you
check.
get sworn out appropriately.
yeah, right?
I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's the kind of thing that can come up and
Yeah,
bite
if
you
I
at
have-
some point.
I'm only 2 minutes
Uh,
away, so if I have to shoot over here.
Okay.
How about just a quick update on where are you at with the health insurance?
So we actually had a meeting, so I don't know what the last update we gave you was. So the trust, our executive director retired. I don't know if okay, so it's been a while since we've updated you. So claims for August came in higher than they expected, so they were all freaking out, but then they knew the money was coming in for October because we had our increase. So they did increase another 20%. So that money's now come in. GLP-1s have stopped. They had 700 new prescriptions, I guess, come in the month of October, so RX claims are still really high. Okay, I don't know why, but whatever. But our executive director gave notice to us in October he was retiring effective November 15th, so he is now gone. Yep, there's 4 people in the office, so they're down to
Just didn't
3.
want to deal with it, did he?
I mean, he
That'd
was
be my guess.
he
Read between
is
the lines.
he is retirement age, so but he retired effective last Friday. There's 4 people in the office that work for the trust. They're down to 3. They put an RFP out to hire. They want to hire a consulting firm to, I guess, run the trust for the next 8 months, and then they'll review if they care to keep a consulting firm on instead of a director, or go back to a director, I guess, later in the year. They had an RFP out. We had a meeting. We had a meeting yesterday. No one in the trust was very happy because they felt that the executive committee, I'm reading between the lines here, so if I'm wrong about people's opinions, I'm sorry, but from my gathering, I don't feel like anyone is trusting what the executive committee is making decisions on. And they basically came forth, they had 6 proposals, they only gave us 2, and they're recommending 1. They didn't tell us why they are recommending them. They didn't give us any rubric as to why they are recommending them. So everyone was up in arms yesterday. They voted. They're going to push the vote off till tomorrow. We had until end of business day or this morning, whatever, to send questions over to the executive committee for them to answer. We got some answers today that I'm not very fond. I don't know. I just feel like they're still beating around the bush. But so we're voting tomorrow on the 2. So there's 2 proposals that they basically brought forward. One was the company that we use that bid on the trust, NFP. And then another company is a company that represents everybody basically east of 495. So I don't really know which, like we were talking about this earlier, I don't really know who's better. Obviously, we're kind of standing with NFP because they represent us. So they're going to work in what's best interest of the trust, and what's in the best interest of the trust is the trust surviving, because that's what we would all like to see. So, but at the same point, it would be nice to have a second set of eyes coming in, because NFP is kind of already advising the trust in the background. It's a big conflict. I don't know.
All right,
So
it sounds like long range.
Yes,
There's
so
still a lot of
we've
questions,
asked
but-
NFP to try to get us quotes for companies, No one will bid on us right now. Blue Cross said they're absolutely not giving us any quote unless the trust goes belly up. Then they will rate us. They will not give us any quote. Maya said they won't quote anybody until January, February timeframe. Who else did she go out to?
Oh, but it
There was
it
another
sounds
company
like
and they said they won't
they've
rate us.
avoided insolvency
Hopefully.
For the time being.
for
Yes.
the time being, right?
Depends on
Not
who.
indefinitely, but,
Yeah.
so our employees are gonna be through the end of our fiscal year, or at least through the end
We
of
hope
our
so.
contract
We
with
are
them?
more confident day by day that
Right.
we'll always make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any union negotiations that dependent on whether they're available or not, or?
No, it's, so the union the union contracts generally say that they'll go along with the insurance company that is selected by the town.
Right.
You know, there's some reference to Blue Cross, but it also says if the town decides to make a different decision, then
Right.
what we'll have to be conscious of is if the plan, you know, if either we go in a different direction with a different group, or if the group decides that it wants to introduce premium, or sorry, a deductible as part of their new plan design, that may require some logistical hurdles on our
Right.
end as it relates to.
Yes. So we had an IAC meeting internally today, and we did get a rep from police and a rep from highway, and I did tell them, both of you go back to your unions and tell them we're more than likely looking at some sort of a deductible, whether it's $200, $1,000. We're going to try to keep it as low as we can, but just be open-minded. We're probably looking at having a deductible because we have none right now. It will be inclusive of, we technically have an RX deductible, but it's $200. But this will be inclusive of RX into medical. And be open-minded that we could potentially be leaving Blue Cross. If you have questions, come back and let me know what they are.
So the additional 20% works within the budget, because we took care of that.
Correct.
okay?
Keeps them sold.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not gonna have any cash flow issues on our part?
No.
You know, we budgeted for that. That
Right.
was the extra money that we did.
At town
Okay.
meeting.
All right, well, it sounds like.
But
that's-
going into budget season next year, so the problem is if we do leave the trust, we have 18-month claim payouts. What that means is for 18 months after you leave the trust, you are responsible 100% for whatever claims you have. So let's just say you go to the doctor's on June 30th and you have a CAT scan, it costs us $10,000. We are now responsible solely for that $10,000, paying that out. So the trust will pay it, and then we have to reimburse the trust.
Yeah.
And you have that for 18 months.
Yeah.
It's usually heavy in the first, they say 3 to 6 months, and then after that, it's just the trickles of the doctors that are really slow at billing, but you usually get the first 3 to 6 months. So we have to be conscious of that if we're going into the budget, knowing if we're gonna switch, that we also need to budget for that.
Okay.
Right, do they provide data so we can project and forecast?
That's a great question. So I was also told yesterday that just be aware that when you're requesting data for claims, if you are choosing to try to get rated from other companies, that they are extremely backlogged because there's only 3 people in the office now, and they are already understaffed. So there's only 4 in the office. It will take a while for us to get claims. No one will rate us without claims. So basically what we would do is once we get that claims data, we'll look at it because we have a whole fiscal year and then we'll have another 6 months. We'll just take an average of that and then budget for a full year. And then I'll have to budget for partly into the next fiscal year too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So as far as the claims data goes?
Yep.
Doesn't it go by the date of service? Like, he had a CAT scan on January 1st, but the claims data or the bill wasn't received till March 1st. Like, shouldn't it go back to the date of service?
Well, it
18
would.
months? It would?
Yeah, so like if he goes to the doctor's on June 30th, if they don't bill it until September 1st, okay, I guess that was a bad example. We wouldn't be responsible, well, we would be responsible for it, no, only as of July 1st, because we're leaving July 1st. So if you had a CAT scan on July 1st, we would be responsible, but June 30th, you wouldn't.
I don't know why, but all I can visualize in the office over there is like stacks of paperwork not
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. And it's funny because when they're on camera, it doesn't even look like they're in an office building, but they just moved to I don't know.
Because if everything's in the system, it's just a push of a button.
Well, and that's what NFP keeps telling us is that there's no reason why Blue Cross can't get you the data fast, but their excuse is that Blue Cross looks at all 73 communities as one, and they're not looking at Ashley, who works for Charlton, as an employee. They're looking at me as part of the trust. So it's harder for them to pull the data. They have to manually manipulate it. And NFP is still like, no, I don't think you do. But so we're working on it. It's a work in progress. We'll know I told our IET today, January, February, March, and April are gonna be very heavy meeting months, cause we're gonna have to make
Yeah.
some serious decisions in that month, in those months. And we have to, if we're gonna leave the trust, we have to let them know by April 1st. So, it's just gloomy in the insurance world lately, so.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Quick update on the regional 911. I think I even read an article that it seems to be moving forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of towns that have been jumping on. Right now, I think the only town that is still kind of not taking action on it is Southbridge. But I think right now it's just kind of like that due diligence period for most of the towns where they're making sure that they got all their ducks in a row. So
Yeah.
I know the regional 911 system has been looking at buildings, that they could potentially move to more in our area. So they won't be able to officially go live until that facility is constructed and they move into it. So
Right.
that's kind of where we're at right now. It's just kind of organizational board is doing their due diligence.
Right, but there's still a lot of interest from other towns to get this thing.
Yeah,
Partly because it's mandated, I know, but.
Well, it's not a mandate yet. It's still, it's kind of like that overarching thing of saying, this is a big push by the state, and right now it's being incentivized. But at some point, it's not going to be incentivized, and it won't become an option.
Right.
Okay.
But everyone, all of our abutting towns, with the exception of Dudley, who's already part of Webster, and Southbridge, who hasn't taken action on it, are the only two that are not moving in that direction.
Right.
Mhm.
I should say Leicester because they're already part of Leicester.
Jamie, what is rave? I just saw your chat.
It's just it's like a code red or 911, but it's a system
We
that
use Code
people
Red.
don't have to opt into, and a lot of emergency management personnel in different communities that I work with have either started to migrate to it or are looking to, because it can do what reverse 911 used to be able to do, where it can reach everybody even if they don't opt in. So I just felt like when we were kind of talking about emergency stuff, I would ask.
Yeah, we've had Code Red for quite a while. We haven't evaluated Rave, but I'll kind of pinpoint or I'll talk to our
My understanding is it can be used as text messages, or people can text back if you're in like an emergency and they need to say like, I'm trapped in my house, I'm homebound now, or like something.
So if it's
I need
a
water,
dispatch,
emergencies, you can text back and forth. But the Code Red system's great, but you have to opt into it. And so if residents don't opt into it, we don't have the ability to reach everybody.
Right.
We don't have to spend a lot of time talking about it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if Rave was on anybody's radar.
We can. I don't know
We
if
can
they.
look into it.
Yeah, I don't know if they maybe use it internally, but we can ask.
It's not an internal system. It's like a Code Red.
Yeah.
It's a system that would be used
Work
like throughout the
townwide.
whole
Okay.
municipality.
Yeah, we can look into it.
I'm looking for
Okay. Next item I had, just to talk about any budget adjustments after the special town meeting.
No, I think we took care of everything
Sure.
and then we just put some of what we didn't spend
So
into.
explain to me what you were doing with the money that didn't or isn't
So we
going into
didn't
the
spend.
stabilizations.
We didn't spend all of it, but I put some of it into overlay. So we had cushioned overlay like a little bit, but not much, because I wanted to put it into stabilization where it could make money. And then I just said, well, if worst case scenario, we'll just have a special town meeting, I'll just pull it out of stabilization. But at least we just made all this interest, because $2 million to get for interest in
Right.
one of those accounts, you make a decent amount of money.
So-
So what we did is, instead of doing into stabilization, I just let her put it into overlay, and it will protect us if Amazon does come back to try to fight us on anything.
Yeah.
And then what overlay does is you can only spend it on abatements or exemptions for real estate or personal property. Those are the only two things you can use it on.
So overlay money,
Yeah, can only be spent on abatements or exemptions.
abatements.
Yeah, so like basically if you come and you say, I don't agree with my personal property bill, and she goes out, she would have to go out,
Yeah.
regrade your house, and say, okay, you know what, your $5,000 bill should really only be $4,500. We'll give you a $500 tax credit, so we'd give you money back.
Okay,
The refund would come out of the overlay account.
okay. So let's say that doesn't happen and the
So
money's sitting there
Amazon
on
doesn't
June
come
30th.
to, right, Amazon doesn't come, fight us for anything. The assessors, the Board of Assessors can, vote to declare it as surplus. And then if we
When?
don't, at anytime during the fiscal year, at any point, they're allowed to
Okay,
do
so-
that.
So just below annual town meeting?
Yep.
She can say.
So they just recently did this for May, so she declared some surplus so they could, and then we appropriated it. So it can be spent two ways. One, it could be spent at any town meeting, and you can appropriate from overlay surplus for any municipal purpose. Or if you don't spend it as of June 30th, it will close to free cash, and it just becomes free cash.
Wait, which is easy.
Right.
Okay, but,
Allows us to put it back.
Spend it for anything we want, yeah, at that point. So I technically, she could declare it as surplus, we don't touch it. I could then, it becomes free cash, and then I could put it into stabilization.
yeah. I just wanted to see if it's available for annual town meeting or it's
Yeah.
gotta do the whole,
No, so
Free
we
cash
can't, they can
certification.
declare it at any point, it would have to be declared prior to town meeting. And then at town meeting in May, we technically could appropriate from overlay surplus.
Yeah.
But I think we had discussed, we'll probably just wait and if they're gonna declare, just let it close,
okay. That's what
We
an
don't want-
overlay-
yeah.
that's what overlay money is.
so.
See, we learned
But it's
something new
good
every
that,
day.
Every
now I
day.
won't have to go dig into stabilization if they do come back and fight, cause that's, $4.8 million is a big bill.
Yeah.
And she pre-billed them because she was nervous that they were going to fight it. So she because usually I'm getting into the weeds, but usually for personal property, when it's a new account, because we've never billed them for personal property, they only get a third and fourth quarter bill. And then next year they would get a 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
They get first, second, third, and fourth quarter. But this year they technically would have only gotten third and fourth. She sent them preliminary bills, like a heads up, like, hey,
Yeah.
this is coming. Here's, and just to see if they were going to gawk at it at all. And they haven't yet. So.
All right.
I don't think they will for a few years.
So.
That's the last
that's
of
it.
our agenda items, other than an update from the two of you on anything else we haven't covered yet.
Fire station's going vertical, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Board of Health issued their notice, or their contract
Yeah.
to a contractor to start the landfill closure project, so
Mhm.
town meeting. Yeah, came in at $1.8 million. We approved a $2 million loan authorization 4 years ago, and then put some supplementary funds from free cash toward it at the October town meeting. So we will have the money available to get that project done, so
Yeah.
we'll get going pretty soon. So we got $400,000 in grants recently. One was $300,000 to do design work for future expansion of the sidewalk network along in the Main Street area, so trying to go all the way to CVS and go all the way down to Bay Path. That'll kind of set us up to hopefully go for another grant in the future, and we're really using like the remaining Amazon money that we had for sidewalks as the match for that the state requires
Okay,
for these
yeah.
grants.
Yeah.
And then the other $100,000 was to do a master plan for the town. So
Okay.
hopefully that's planning board is discussing that.
Oh, that's on the agenda. All right.
I need that to take some action on it because the state does have some very strict timelines for the expenditure of the funds.
We'll try and get you updated.
We,
No, I don't need to be,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you don't need?
I don't need to be there.
Andrew did be there.
I think Jamie had to go at 7:20, but yeah. My only update is I sent out FY27 budgets. They're due to me in a month. They went out a month ago, and everyone's like, "It's this time already." I'm like, guys, yeah, it's almost December.
Yeah.
So, and with the holidays, it will be here before we know it, and it's literally a month away. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
2027.
The only
I
other
know.
thing that I just had a quick, and I didn't even put on the agenda, did the police chief have to go through leasing cars?
yes,
Yeah.
we have 2.
3.
Well, 2 here.
2 here.
One's
one
on its way.
Yeah.
So we did go through
Yeah.
that program.
So we leased.
How long is it gonna take us to figure out whether it saves us any money or costs us any money?
Well, so it doesn't cost us any different. He just was able to so he took care of some needs that he needed. So instead of coming to you and asking for 5 cars, he was able to still only ask for the money for 3, but he technically got 5 cars.
Oh, okay.
He's just going to amortize 2.
So next year he'll only get 2, and the year after he'll only get 2. So it just, instead of waiting for the 3, he just got them, like the other 3, he just got an extra 2 now.
Yeah, for the town.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it really doesn't, and it was a very easy process.
Was it?
And, yeah. So he was able to make do, and he got a car for animal control and then 2 cruisers. And then he had already gotten 2 cruisers, so. So he got 2 admin cars and then the animal control truck, which helped her out because she didn't have, her van was kind of on its way out, so. It worked. So we have 2 in right now. They're waiting for the 3rd, and I'll be good to go.
All right, that's the only other question I had. You guys got anything? Jamie, got anything? All set? Okay, so our next meeting is December 17th.
Yep.
I will be zooming in, because I will be down south, so Christian will be chairing that meeting.
We will
Got
be
nothing
upstairs.
else?
Concom's moving their meeting, so we will be upstairs.
Okay.
They pushed their meetings to the 3rd Wednesday because they're only meeting once a month. Like, you can't do that to me in November and December. That's my meeting day.
You'll cover our back, I know. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I have a
Second.
motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no.
Yes.
That is a vote.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.